adopted by the county and that would protect the area for years to come. 65 years later, the Pine Island Plan is still protecting and maintaining island life. But as we have learned over the years, yes, we can applaud that. But as we've learned over the years, simply having a plan in place does not guarantee that our islands will maintain the vision of the founders. It takes vigilance and it takes citizen action by year-round residents, snowbirds, and visitors alike to look out for the interests of our community. So now, on the occasion of our 65th anniversary, we'd like to acknowledge the contributions of the members of the Gpica and the Gpica board, past and present, several of whom are here tonight. Some of the very earliest people are here, and one is sitting right here, is Anna Stover. And over here, we have Bill Spikowski, and these two are vying for the oldest members.
Longest serving.
So I don't quite know what that is. And then Bill Andrus, who I saw here. And then the current members of our board are here. You can see by their homemade nameplates. Michael Sweeney, our treasurer. Nadine Slamak was way back there, who's the vice president and also in charge of the microphones. Cindy Bear, who many of you probably know. She's been on the island forever. She's a Florida resident from way back in the generation. And Connie Gillespie, a new board member, who's also my neighbor. So that is We also want to especially acknowledge the work of one of our recent past presidents, Roger Wood, who devoted many years of volunteer service to the Gpica in the Greater Pine Island community. Roger, where you are. All right. Roger. Those of us who came after you, Roger, know that maintaining an organization and keeping the Pine Island Plan effective against challenges was not always smooth sailing. You did a mighty job keeping us going in the right direction. So with thanks from all of us, we'd like to present you with this plaque in honor of your service. Okay, now down to the business. Got the picture? Good. All right, so on your tables are copies of tonight's agenda. The other side of tonight's agenda is the treasurer's report. It's very brief. And you'll also find the minutes from the last general meeting, which can also be found on the Gpica website, gpica.org. I'm not going to go over the minutes or the agenda or the treasurer's report. They're here for you to read if you haven't looked at them already. We want to move on because we have so many issues to talk about tonight. So, maybe a board member could call for a motion to accept the minutes and the treasurer's report. All right. Thank you, Mike. And Connie seconds it. All in favor of accepting these two reports, please raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Thank you. All right. So, our featured speaker tonight is the chair of the Lee County Commission, Kevin Lorraine. This morning, several board members went to the county commissioners meeting in Fort Myers to accept a resolution from the county about the Gpica. We're pretty excited about this resolution. And I would like to start by asking Commissioner Ruane to read the resolution to you. copies? There we go.
Good evening, all. I'm Kevin Rain. So the Board of County Commissioners resolution this morning that was read at our meeting starts as, whereas Greater Pine Island, the largest island of Florida's west coast, and the islands of Little Pine Island, Mount Shea, and Lee County. Pine Island is settled continuously dating back to the Moose-Hatchie Indians, who created one of the most important settlements here. And whereas today, the Greater Pine Island includes Bokelia, Pineland, Pine Island Center, St. James City, Mount Shea Island. A diverse population of commercial fishing families that have been in the areas for generations, new resident retirees, working families with children, anglers, artisans. Numerous protected areas provide a haven for important floral, including endangered protected species like manatees and dolphins, growth tortoises and bald eagles, pelicans and eastern indigo snakes, ospreys, tarpons. And whereas the community and the legacy of Greater Pine Island residents and its independent-minded nature and desire to live in a peaceful and tranquil setting among squash pines, mangrove, forest, shorelines, and healthy aquatic reserves. And whereas the Greater Pine Island Civic Association was incorporated in 1957, born from the desire of Greater Pine Island residents and business owners to be advocates for health, safety, and quality of life in the Greater Pine Island area. And whereas, since the association's creation, its members and leaders, including Ann Stogler, Barbara Dubin, Dr. Jean and Ellie Boyd, Phil Buchanan, Noel Andres, Phil Bukowski, Kathy Hendrickson, Roger Wood, Kathy Malone, and many, many others, too numerous to name, have been advocates for the protection of the unique coastal rural community of Pine Island and its enclaves. And whereas through the Greater Pine Island Civic Association, community leaders worked with Lee County to develop the Greater Pine Island Community Plan as a growth management guide to maintain the island's unique natural resources and character, and to ensure that the island residents and visitors have a reasonable quality of opportunity to evacuate when a hurricane strike is imminent. And whereas the Greater Pine Island Civic Association has performed significant community services for the citizens of Greater Pine Island by advocating for improvements in water quality, traffic congestion, roadway safety, overdevelopment, that help to maintain a desirable, livable community that promotes smart growth and preserves sensitive natural areas. And whereas 2022, the 65th anniversary of Greater Pine Island Civic Association, now that therefore it was resolved by the Board of County Commissioners this morning of Lee County, Florida, wishes to recognize and applaud the Greater Pine Island and its members for the occasion of the Association's 65th anniversary and proclaims April 5th, 2022 as Greater Pine Island Civic Association Day. Signed by our chairman, myself. Thank you.
We have our own day, I can't believe it. Okay, so I'm going to give copies of this resolution to our esteemed older board members. Goes for Anna, I brought you one earlier, but this one's prettier because it's in color. And these go to Noel and Bill. And who did I leave out, maybe? I don't know if it's a
They're for the board.
Sorry?
They're for the board.
There for the board. Okay, there you go. All right. An interesting aspect of having a resolution in your name is you get to put certain items in a glass case downtown Fort Myers at the County Commission building. And so today we have a few of those items that we want to present to Commissioner Ring so he can put them there for all to see. That is a Pine Island with okay, here's an artistic map of Pine Island, and Pine Island with coordinates, and geographical coordinates. Okay, so as about tonight, I'd like to give you some background. And then board members will introduce 4 issues that we would like Kevin to address. After each issue is introduced, Kevin will say something about it, and then you, the audience, will have a chance to ask him any questions you might have. Then we'll move on to the introduction of the next issue. Kevin will speak about it and take questions again, and so on through the 4 issues. We have a 5th issue that just came up at the last minute, and so we will present that afterwards. So in late 2020, the Greater Pine Island Civic Association surveyed our community about the issues that most concern them. Residents identified their top issues as, no surprise, water quality, overdevelopment, and traffic. The GPICA has used these community concerns to develop a roadmap to guide us as we continue to work to protect the island's unique coastal rural way of life. During 2021, we focused in on several areas where we thought we could have a positive impact on the community. And we added a new issue that cropped up related to the use and management of our Conservation 2020 lands on the island. Commissioner Lorraine will talk about it, and then you will be able to put your questions and comments to the commissioner.
Well, the main issue of concern is the congestion on Pine Island Road as drivers try to exit the island or enter the island. And this is an issue, obviously, that occurs pretty much all winter long, but especially from November until almost till April. We met with the director of the Department of Transportation. His name is Randy Searchy, and we had a meeting with him to express our concerns of all of you in June of 2021. And at that time, we invited him to come out for an additional meeting where he could talk to the residents of Pine Island. That was during COVID, of course, and so at that point in time, he did accept and he did come out, but that was during COVID, so everything was going smooth. But in October, he did come out, and at that meeting, LEDOT presented a solution to traffic here at the 4-way stop, not the problem which we all know is the real problem, which is not the shed. I think we all recognize that as the main problem. The intersection there at Pinewood Road and Streetville is not the problem, but the congestion in Mattache. And that's not an easy problem to solve. Mattache is a historic district. It's got many small businesses that rely on tourism for their livelihoods, and for whom parking is a difficult problem. Furthermore, the Lee County Department of Transportation seems to have taken a position that they're waiting for Florida's Department of Transportation to study. They're producing you probably read about this in the Eagle, a shared use path or a mixed use path. People sometimes refer to it as a bike path. It's supposed to be for pedestrians and bus, but it would join veterans with Pine Island Septic. But we've asked the county they've taken the position that they're going to have to wait until Florida's Department of Transportation has completed their study before they actually do anything for us. So, because we wanted to support the unique character of the community of Mattache, including the many small businesses along Pine Island Road, we've asked the county for 2 low-cost interventions that they may not solve the difficult problem of traffic in Mattache, but they could help ease the traffic going on and off the island. The 2 that we talked about are traffic cams in Mattache and an easy-to-use app to go along with those traffic, so that we feel this would allow all the residents to be able to look at traffic in Mattache before setting out on North Pine Island Road, before setting out, and could save wasted and canceled trips. We'd addressed this with Mr. Searchy, that's the Department of Transportation. transportation minute. And he stated that he would look into it, but we aren't sure what actions still need to be taken so that we can actually make this a reality. The second suggestion that we have, like Mr. Commissioner Wayne can speak to, is the extension of the right-hand turn lane from eastbound Pine Island Road. You know, when you're leaving Pine Island, Tropicana, on the right-hand side there, that is all crumbled and falling apart. So we'd like to turn that eastbound lane and extend it, lengthen it so we can extend it. And we believe that a newer, longer lane will allow the right turn traffic to exit Pine Island Road more quickly, thus keeping the traffic movement somewhat efficient. So, with that said, Mr. Sir,
Good evening. So just a little background, just so everyone understands. My district starts in Gpica, goes through Sanibel, it goes in the southwest part of Cape, it comes over to Pine Island, I also have Broken Ground. So traffic is something I'm very familiar with, and having been mayor of Sanibel for 11 years on council, we took a lot of opportunities. One, there's really three things you can do with traffic. One is technology. And technology is what your board has asked for. Cameras. They've been ordered. They will be installed within the next 90 days. So we do have that. I've forwarded correspondence to Helen every time I get updates. The second ask that you had, let me just finish. So the second area in traffic that you can do is behavior modification. So using an application and using CAM gives you an opportunity to look at that. Sanibel has a application called Sanibel Down, which I suggested strongly both Pine Island has as well as Boca Grant. The application is two devices. One, it ties in the cameras that you are going to ask us to put in. And two, it actually interacts with Waze and Google Maps. So it allows you to look at things live, not only from a traffic point of view, but from a camera point of view. Because if you look at technology is number one, behavior modification is number two. So we, when I was in Sanibel, we analyzed traffic to see when our high points were and our low points. And some of the people that had the flexibility in their lives can travel off island and go into the traffic when they were going against the traffic, not making that 8 o'clock appointment to come back at 10 o'clock when everyone's coming back on the island. So there are people that can make behavior modifications to do so. We have a lot of our workforce do the same, coming in earlier, leaving earlier to avoid congestion. So that's how you look at technology to have behavior modifications. The third is hardship issues, which are the more difficult for us. But you're asked about the turning lane. I don't not only have it being received, but I actually will leave you plans that should show you what is actually being designed to address exactly your ask. So the two asks that I was asked to bring forward when I met with these people, I came here with Mr. Searcy, we've achieved. That's not to say that's the end all and be all. I would strongly encourage you to participate and want to be part of this application because it's one that I found to ease traffic. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you we're going to move traffic. I lived on an island for 15 years where we would go from 6,000 people to 45,000 people, and there was no place to get rid of that many cars. And the pandemic has only made Southwest Florida even more popular. We go from an average population close to 782,000 if you want to be exact, about 1.4 during the winter. That's what we do as a community. So I can't get rid of 70+% growth in just population. What you can do is it's like putting on a forceps and dialing down. That's all I'm going to promise you. I'm not going to overpromise and deliver. I'd rather at least you ask for things, I brought them here. We got both that we asked for. But I really encourage you to look at the application. And we'll certainly give you a preview of that, an opportunity to look at it. Because I can tell you, the residents of Sanibel certainly like it. Talk to Boca Grant and do the same thing. The more users, the more friendly it becomes, the more helpful it is. And quite frankly, when I came here, if you had an application like that, I would run on the application. I go to Sanibel, there's called Sanibel Down. So you name it whatever you'd like to, the board can certainly do that and implement it so it gives you an opportunity. And it does the best of using Google and Waze together. That's why I put them in the cameras. And you can access the cameras from any computer, any iPhone, any tablet that you have. So if you're home and you're like, okay, do I need to, do I want to go out now, what does it look like? So there's just a helpful thing to perhaps influence your behavior. Hardscapes are just one. Many of you know we go through design and a planning process that we go through. So those things take a little bit longer, but we were able to achieve exactly what you asked for. I will leave the plans with Helen, make sure you have them, but both will be certainly in place and start to be implemented, even the turning lane before the end of the year.
Okay, so, now, if you have any questions or comments about what Commissioner Lane has just told you, or anything about traffic, now's the time to raise them. Okay, yeah.
I have Sunday traffic this back all the way to the four corners, and when I got up there, it turned out it was a street sweeper. And it was sweeping, and he had to call somebody, like behavior modification. On the roads during these hours.
Absolutely. And again, I cannot communities to understand the issue. What I'm responsible for doing is creating policies. So simple policy changes, like you change sweeping streets at 12 o'clock or 10 o'clock, or let's look at where traffic is obviously lower, and let's do that. So again, I don't know things until you sit down and you tell me what the issues are. Great suggestion. I certainly will take it back. As Kevin and one of those, they come to me, I go back to staff. If I can implement a policy, things like that, that makes things a little bit easier. To me, it's not going to change our cost whatsoever, but it might make me follow that just a little bit.
There was another hand, yes?
I think this idea of the cams with the app is an excellent idea for those of you who haven't figured out that when you make your appointments, your doctor's appointments, which everybody in the state school is making doctor's appointments and running on and on, they get to a point where the doctor's office says, when we say, no, we can't take that 2 o'clock appointment, we want a 10 o'clock appointment, we can get off the island, and soon after say before 9:30. They know we're from Pine Island. Some of the doctors have already some of you have already figured that out. And the doctor is very willing to change that timing for you if you know. If you go through there, you know what times it's here busy. Don't make their appointments there. It works. It works for us. We've been doing it for 30 years. 35 years.
Good. So, yeah, someone in the back.
Sure.
On that same note, I've had people tell me that they make doctor's appointments, and they got there late, and the doctor would not see them, and also were charged for that appointment. So, and is there any way we can educate our visitors to use the crosswalks in Mount Lachey? That some do, but most don't, and they just walk out in front of you, you stop, you wait, you hold up traffic, you go a little bit down the road, they walk out in front of you again, you stop, you hold up traffic. That seems to be a big problem when they don't use the crosswalks.
Certainly, education is the first aspect you try before you summon people, and I've heard that very loud and clear. They can certainly meet with the sheriff's office to see what type of personnel is deployed here. And again, let's be weary of what we ask for. That is, you'll get educated, and then you'll get fined. So, if someone's going to call me out and want the way to fine.
It's not safe, it's not safe.
I don't disagree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
For
But
pedestrians or people traveling through Mount Lachey, it's not safe for people trying to get by ambulance off the island, get to a doctor's, get to an emergency room, and it's just not safe.
I agree with you, and I'm not saying I
Before,
don't.
we used to talk about hurricane season, trying to evacuate the island during hurricane season, but now it's during tourist season. We're trying on our own island.
If that is something that people would like, I certainly don't have a problem. I will tell you that I will get a call from someone that's issued a ticket if they don't want to, they're on a fixed income, they're not going to want to pay it. I'm just telling you the flip side of that. I've been there. But I agree with you, your point of view, and certainly we'll talk to you with the sheriff's office. No problem with that.